What's up guys, Dakota here, and today I wanted to talk to you about a contentious topic in the fashion community, and that is replicas and fakes. But as I was researching, it might not be as contentious as I thought. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I came across a subreddit that actually has a ton of people following it. This subreddit is called Fashion Reps. There's almost 200,000 subscribers to this subreddit as of the day that I filmed this. And I kind of thought that was weird that there was that many people in that community wanting to get fake items, because from my perspective and all of my friends' perspectives in the fashion community and people that I know that are into fashion, whether it's streetwear, high fashion, avant-garde, techwear, whatever you're into, it seems for the most part that it is highly looked down upon, and it's kind of something that is just not talked about, and people are actually shamed in the community when they wear fake things. To put things in perspective, r/techwear clothing only has about 22,000 subscribers, and streetwear has about 1 million. So it's not nearly as big as streetwear, but it has a big chunk of that community in there. And the reason why I say that is I think that for the most part, streetwear is probably the biggest representation of what is being copied and what people are talking about on this subreddit, but we'll get into that later in the video. So to break down what people feel like and how I feel about this and reasons why I personally don't partake in buying replica clothing items, let's start off with the perspective of people in the techwear community. It's actually against the techwear subreddit's rules to discuss anything related to replica fashion, and you can't post fit pics with any replica items either. So in that community, it is highly looked down upon, and for good reason. It makes no sense to buy a replica item if you want a techwear piece, because the quality and utility is probably the most important aspect when it comes to techwear clothing. So it makes sense why the community is against it. Because, you know, when you are buying a fake item, chances are it doesn't exactly match up with the real item that it's imitating, whether it's the fit, quality, colors, placement of prints, things like that. So when you're getting a acronym pair of pants that are fake, it's kind of stupid because you're not going to get the same kind of utility out of it. Chances are the fabric quality is not as good and the fit overall is not going to be the same. With that being said, there's not that many people out there actually buying fake techwear pieces from what I can tell, and for the most part the community is against it, so you don't really see it there. The largest community that you see fake items purchased from is easily luxury items. If we're talking on a global scale, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry selling fake luxury goods, whether it's Louis Vuitton handbags or Gucci suits or what have you. So reasons why people don't like to support counterfeit goods in general is because these goods don't have to go through the same kind of safety and quality standards as the originals. With clothes, safety and quality of the piece itself is not really a health issue. Like if you were to purchase counterfeit drugs, you are risking something that might possibly harm you. With these clothes, chances are they're not painting them with lead or doing something that's going to harm the consumer, but it does harm the people who are creating the clothes. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not the working conditions of these people making replicas are better than anyone else, but you're taking away from the original designer and you were kind of just spitting on the image of what they created, because there's kind of a reason why luxury goods have that luxury price. They're handcrafted oftentimes when we're talking about bags and leather goods. On top of that, they have highly skilled seamstresses and tailors making their clothes in their factories, and that's part of the reason why the cost is higher. And lastly, quite frankly, these clothes aren't for anybody. There's a reason why they make it that high. They want a specific kind of person who has a certain social class to purchase their clothes. Now, whether or not that is something that people agree with, it's factual. Certain designers' clothes don't fit well with certain body types, and they do that on purpose. You know, they want to have the highest echelon of people wearing their clothes, and when someone who thinks that a luxury item is too expensive and they would rather buy a cheap knockoff version, they're kind of tainting the image of the brand overall, and it kind of drives the image of the company down. And it's super counterintuitive because the people who are purchasing these replica clothes, they want to give off the image that they have these exclusive or luxury items, but when it comes down to it, they're not going to be fooling someone who is really into the clothes and knows a lot about them. People who are actually into the fashion and the brands can tell from a mile away whether or not something is real. The only kinds of people they're going to fool are people who aren't into the clothes anyways, and it just doesn't make sense to impress someone for that kind of reason, because they're not really going to care anyways if you have the clothes. It's just a really stupid mindset to have, and it's just weird because the amount of research and involvement in the community that people have to have in order to buy these replica clothes is insane. The meta on the subreddit itself is so deep, I couldn't really understand most of the jokes or references. They're purchasing clothes off of like Taobao and Superbuy and things like that online from Asian sites or directly from the manufacturers in China. And the language barrier is part of the issue, and there's just so much that goes into you having to buy the clothes or figuring out what is the correct size, what is going to look the best. There's different batches of fake items that come out. There's just so much to it that if these people put that effort and research towards something else, like a part-time job or something, maybe they'd be able to afford these coveted items that they really, really want. A big argument that I see on that subreddit is, these goods that I want to buy, these Yeezys, these Supreme box logos, whatever they are, for the most part, it's streetwear items. They're hyped and they sell out and they're unable to buy them, and they would be willing to purchase them retail, but they don't want to pay the resale price. Now, that's understandable, but I think you're just punking the people in the community by, flexing some fake items. It just doesn't make sense. People don't respect that at all. It's completely against the whole reason of having an exclusive, rare, expensive luxury item in the first place, because you're not having the same kind of item and you're not paying that amount of money, so you're just tricking people. It's poser mentality, and it's lame, man. It's so lame. On the subreddit itself, for the most part, like I said, there are streetwear pieces that they're copying, and it's just sad because these streetwear companies, for the most part, they start out as brick and mortar, and they grind really hard, and these designers, I don't want to say anything about any specific brands because I know specific brands steal and rip off things, but right now the meta of the subreddit seems that they've moved away from Palace and Supreme and the likes of that, and they have switched over onto luxury goods, menswear, and now brands like Kith and other smaller streetwear brands. And it's just gross because you can support the smaller streetwear brand and purchase the clothes. It's not that expensive and it doesn't sell out that fast. And I just don't know why people care that much about the look or the hype. If you really cared about the look that much, you can replicate styles and silhouettes with other clothes that are cheaper. For example, when I was younger, I just went and purchased everything from Goodwill in the aesthetic that I wanted, and I learned to tailor clothes, and in that scenario, I saved money and I wasn't supporting this nefarious activity. And I don't dislike the hustle of making fake goods. I understand that the market's always going to be there and there's always going to be people buying those goods, and I don't really blame the people creating the items. I blame the consumers partaking in it and the people in the community who kind of tolerate it and think that it's cool. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, it just, the whole reason why it's cool to have these items is because A, they're either expensive or exclusive, and if you're getting a fake item, then you don't have either of that. You are diluting the market, you are ruining the brand image, and you are driving it to death. I think that's part of the reason why that subreddit has now moved on to Kith and other brands. They don't care about Supreme and Palace and things like that because it's become so saturated now because so many people are buying the replica goods. Another issue that I've thought about with this is I can see tons of people purchasing these replica goods and then reselling them on Grailed or selling them to consignment shops or doing something like that. And the fakes now will even come with stock X little QR scanners. Now, I don't know whether or not the scanner works, but it's probably things like that that make these fakes seem so realistic that they could then be resold as if they were the real thing to someone who is not knowingly buying this item, and that is a big issue. I just find that to be, it's just messed up, it's just gross. It's against the terms and policies, and I understand Grailed has a system of taking down accounts if people are found selling fake goods, but there's naive kids out there that are gonna go on to Grailed and they're gonna find Supreme shirts, and chances are if someone is selling a cheap one that's fake, and for the most part most people can tell it's fake, maybe that kid won't, and then he'll buy something that's fake, and it's just lame if you're selling fakes to someone who doesn't know that it's fake. You know, it's one thing if you're doing all the research and you're doing it for yourself because you just don't care about all the points that I brought up, or, you know, the reasons why it's stupid. If you just don't care and you want to have a clothing item that isn't the same as what you're trying to replicate and, you know, pretend to be like, then that's fine. That's your own prerogative. Those are the reasons why I choose to not support fake items and why I think they're lame in general. I mean, it's just cooler to pick out a fit that you look good in, and it doesn't have to be name brand or hype or whatever. You can still look good without having hyped clothes. So it's kind of a stupid argument that I find people wanting to fit in or having these cool exclusive items. It's just, I don't know, I'm sure you guys can tell my disgust throughout this whole video. It's just, I had to make this because it's just insane to me that there's 200,000 people a part of this subreddit, and it's, like I said, the barrier of entry to understand everything and get involved is pretty high. There's more involved with this and learning about the meta and learning about ordering and everything than there is with techwear, and techwear has a ton of weird things about it that you have to learn to get into it. I'd be curious to know what you guys think about replica fashion. Leave your comments down below on how you view it and replica goods in general. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, and if you want to see more fashion videos in the future, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that bell so you get notified when I upload my videos every single Wednesday. Until next time, stay Gucci.